Class, let's continue with the lesson Deep Water by William Douglas. Yesterday we had read about phase 1 when Douglas was 3 or 4 years old and he developed a fear of water. This happened when he went to California beach with his father and was almost drowned in the water. That day onwards he did not go near any water body. But then we read about phase 2. In this phase, Douglas was 10 or 11 years old and he wanted to learn to swim. He decided to learn swimming at YMCA pool in Yakima. And at YMCA pool, he was slowly getting confidence. There were two things that were giving him confidence. One was his water wings and two, he was aping. He was copying the other children and that was giving him confidence. Slowly he was at ease in water when a misadventure happened. Now what was the misadventure? The misadventure was that one day he was sitting at the pool all alone. Nobody else had come, so he decided to sit there and wait for others to come because he was not that very confident to enter the pool all alone. So he was sitting by the side of the pool. Right then, a big bruiser came. He was a muscular boy, probably 18 years old. He simply asked Douglas, "Hi, Skinny, how would you feel if you are ducked into the water?" And before Douglas could say anything, he simply picked up Douglas and threw him in the deep end of the water. Douglas, because he was all unprepared, he was thrown into the water. He said he was frightened, but not yet frightened out of wits. Now, what does this phrase mean? He was only physically frightened because he was not prepared for the same. But his intellect, his mind, it was working on the strategy to come out of the water. Strategy was that he would touch the bottom and make a big jump. Then he would come to the surface, he would lie flat on it, and then he would paddle to the edge of the pool. He made 3 attempts to come out of the water. First attempt we did read yesterday that those 9 feet deep water, it appeared more like 90 feet. He made an attempt to come out of the water. He felt that he would jump up on the surface like a cock, but that did not happen. He came out of the water very slow. So his first attempt was very much futile. In the first attempt, his nose and eyes came out of the water, but his mouth did not come out of the water. Let's begin with this next attempt today. He said, "I flailed at the surface of the water, swallowed and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling me under the water. I screamed, but only the water heard me. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool." So this is the result of his first attempt to come out of the water, which was completely useless because once again the great force of the water, it pushed him back. He said, "I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare fights an irresistible force." Expending, consuming my strength. He said, "When I was going down in the water for the second time, I struck at the water. I was using my strength as one in a nightmare. A nightmare is a terrifying dream. As one in a nightmare fights an irresistible force." He said, "I had lost all my breath. My lungs ached, my head throbbed, I was getting dizzy, but I remembered the strategy that I would spring, I would jump from the bottom of the pool and come like a cock to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms and thrash the water with my legs. And then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe." I went down and down endlessly. I opened my eyes, nothing but water. Water with a yellow glow, dark water that one could not see through. And then sheer stark terror, it seized me, it captured me. Terror that knows no understanding, terror that knows no control, terror that no one can understand who has not experienced it. So Douglas says that while making second attempt to come out of the water, he was terror stricken. He experienced the terror that no one can understand who has not experienced it. He says, I was shrieking, I was crying underwater, I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid with fear. Even the screams in my throat, they were frozen. Only my heart and the pounding in my head, they said that I was still alive. And then in the midst of the terror, there came a touch of reason that I must remember to jump when I hit the bottom. At last I felt the tiles under me. My toes reached out as if to grab them. I jumped with everything I had. Said finally, when he touched the bottom, he made a big jump. But the jump made no difference. The water was still around me. I looked for ropes, ladders, water wings, but nothing. Nothing but water was around me. A mass of yellow water held me. Stark terror took an even deeper hold on me, like a great charge of electricity. I shook and trembled with fright. My arms would not move. My legs would not move. I tried to call for help, to call for mother, but nothing happened. So in the second attempt, he was terror stricken. He wanted to come out, but nothing happened. And then strangely there was light. I was coming out of the awful yellow water. At least my eyes were. My nose was almost out too. But then I started down a third time, and even in the second attempt, he could not come out.